Allo, allo, it's Nia. Welcome to AI Creator World Podcast, the place where creators learn how to grow faster, build smarter, and turn artificial intelligence into real opportunity. Here, we explore powerful AI tools, content strategies, personal branding systems, and new ways to create income in the digital era. If you are building something online, you are in the right place. Let's begin.
So picture this. You're pouring hours, maybe even days into a single piece of content.
Oh, yeah. We all know that feeling.
Right. Like you're building an AI influencer from the ground up. You're tweaking the prompt weights to get the lighting just right. You're rendering these flawless images and, running the outputs through upscale after upscale.
And you're posting consistently, too, like doing exactly what all the gurus tell you to do.
Exactly. You are doing everything the industry says you should do.
Mhm.
But then you look at your follower count, and it's entirely flat, just a horizontal line.
It's brutal.
It is. You post, you wait, and it honestly feels like you are literally screaming into a digital void.
It's an incredibly frustrating place to be. And honestly, it's the default state for most creators right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the immediate instinct when you hit that wall is to assume, well, it's a volume problem. You think, like, if I just post twice a day instead of once, if I just push harder and shout louder, the platform will have to notice me.
Right, but what if the problem isn't how loud you're shouting, but like the actual language you're speaking to the algorithm?
That is the million-dollar question.
It is, and welcome to today's deep dive. Because this week, the team over at AI Creator World dropped this guide on content pillars that honestly it completely flips the conventional wisdom on its head.
It really does.
It was published just a couple of weeks ago, March 17th, 2026. And it essentially argues that most AI creators who hit a plateau, well, they aren't failing on content quality at all. Like their renders are stunning.
Right. Beautiful renders.
But where they are failing is on architecture.
And that's exactly the core mission of our deep dive today. We're going to deconstruct the exact 5-pillar system this guide outlines.
Because we really need to shift the mindset here, right?
Exactly. The goal is to shift your mindset entirely away from, content volume and toward content architecture. Because when you understand the mechanics of how these platforms actually categorize data.
Which is super complex, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. But when you get it, you realize that a pillar system literally forces the algorithm to recognize your work, categorize it properly, and actually reward it with distribution.
Okay, let's unpack this concept of the algorithm categorizing data, because the guide highlights this fatal flaw that most of us are making. They call it the isolated experiment problem.
Yes, that part was so eye-opening.
Right. It basically says that without a predefined pillar structure, every single time you post, it's an island.
Yeah. Think about how the algorithm actually functions under the hood. Like, it's not a human curator sitting at a desk admiring your aesthetic.
Sadly, no.
Right. It's a machine learning model trying to build a semantic cluster around your account. It's trying to establish what data scientists call a topic authority signal.
Okay, a topic authority signal. So what does the algorithm actually want to know?
It wants to know definitively what category you belong in and, which specific users have a high probability of engaging with you. So when every post you make is a random experiment.
Like a tutorial today, maybe a meme tomorrow.
Yeah, and a lifestyle shot the next day. You force the algorithm to start its math over from scratch every single time. That authority signal never compounds.
It's like showing up to build a house, but every day you bring totally random materials.
That's a great way to look at it.
Like on Monday, you bring a pallet of bricks. On Tuesday, you bring 50 sheets of drywall. On Wednesday, you just drop off a bathtub in the middle of the grass.
And the algorithm is the city building inspector. It walks onto your lot, looks at this chaotic pile of materials and says, look, I have absolutely no idea what kind of structure you're trying to build here, so I am not giving you a permit to show this to anyone.
Right. The machine needs a blueprint.
Exactly. It needs a blueprint.
Now, what's wild is that when you actually give it that blueprint, you unlock this concept the guide calls pre-distribution. I had to read the section twice.
It's a game changer.
The idea that the algorithm can push your post to the right audience before it even has a single like or comment.
It sounds like magic, but it's really just historical data at work. We tend to anthropomorphize these algorithms, We think they want to be entertained by endless variety and surprises.
Like they're getting bored.
Right, but they don't get bored. Algorithms crave predictability. If your historical topic signal is crystal clear because you stick to strict pillars, the platform doesn't need to wait for initial engagement data on a new post to know who to serve it to.
Wow.
Yeah, it already knows your audience cluster, so it pre-distributes the content, giving you this massive head start.
So, okay, we need predictability. But I really want to clarify something here because I see this mistake constantly with creators.
Oh, the format versus pillar confusion?
Yes. A lot of creators confuse a format with the pillar. Like they'll say, oh, my pillars are reels, carousels, and stories.
Yeah.
Or they confuse it with just a vague topic like, my pillar is productivity.
Yeah, that's not what a pillar is.
Exactly. The source explicitly defines a pillar by the specific engagement signal it activates.
And this is the distinction that separates the amateurs from the professionals, honestly. A pillar is defined by the action it forces the user to take.
Okay, like what kind of action?
Like, are they saving it? Are they commenting? Are they sharing it? If you just say, my pillar is AI art, that tells the machine literally nothing about user behavior.
Right, it's too broad.
Exactly. You need to structure the post to trigger a specific algorithmic loop.
Okay, let's get into the actual bedrock of this architecture then. The guide breaks down this 40-30-20-10 ratio for your content.
That ratio is the core of the whole strategy.
Right, and it starts with Pillar 1, which commands a massive 40% of your total output. This is educational and value-driven content, and the metric we are targeting here isn't likes.
Nope, it saves.
Saves. Why saves over likes?
Well, likes are incredibly passive. I mean, a user double taps and scrolls past in a fraction of a second.
Barely even registering what they looked at.
Exactly. But a save is active. It is a user telling the platform, this content is so valuable, I need to bookmark it and return to this app later to reference it.
And platforms love returning users.
They are the holy grail. From the platform's perspective, returning users are everything. So content that generates saves gets heavily rewarded.
And the guide sets a target save rate of 1.5 to 3% or higher for this pillar. Right.
Yeah, 1.5 to 3%, which is high, but achievable if you do it right.
Which means the content has to be designed specifically to be kept, rather than just like consumed once and forgotten.
Right. You aren't just posting a cool image of your AI influencer.
You are posting a breakdown of the exact lighting prompts you used, or like a step-by-step guide on how you fix those awful distorted hands in your render. You're basically making yourself a utility.
You're establishing undeniable authority. But, being a highly useful encyclopedia doesn't make you an influencer.
Right.
It makes you a Wikipedia page. People might save your prompts, but they don't necessarily care about you.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do you bridge that gap?
Well, that requires an authenticity signal.
Okay, which brings us to Pillar 2, behind the scenes or BTS content. And the guide categorizes this as part of a 30% engagement allocation. The goal here is to drive comments and profile visits.
Right, with a target comment rate of 0.5 to 1%.
Right. They suggest narrating failed experiments, showing the messy iteration process, proving there's an actual human driving the AI.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest, I have a major problem with this. I really need to challenge this concept.
Okay, let's hear it. Lay it on me.
Okay, so if I am running an AI influencer, say I've created this hyper-realistic virtual fashion model who supposedly lives in Paris and attends runway shows,
Right.
isn't the entire appeal the illusion? Like if I pull back the curtain and post a reel showing the deformed six-fingered outputs I got on my first 3 Midjourney generations, doesn't that completely shatter the magic?
I can definitely see why you'd think that.
Right. Why would the algorithm reward what basically feels like brand suicide?
I see the logic there, and, for a traditional human influencer, breaking the fourth wall like that might be really jarring, but you have to deeply understand the psychology of the audience consuming AI influencer content in 2026.
Okay. What's different about them?
Vast majority of your core audience isn't actually fooled into thinking this person is real.
They know it's AI.
Exactly. They are highly aware of the medium. In fact, they're often tech enthusiasts, fellow creators, or aspiring artists themselves.
Oh, wow. So they aren't there for the fantasy. They're there for the execution of the fantasy.
Exactly that. When you show the messy iteration process, you aren't ruining the illusion. You are elevating your status as the puppeteer. You're inviting them into your technical journey.
Okay, I'm starting to get it.
Hey, like, when you show a massive failure and explain exactly how you fixed it, it invites peer-to-peer technical questions. Like, hey, did you use a specific control net for that? Or what was your denoise strength?
Which drives your comment rate through the roof.
Precisely. It builds a community that is actually invested in your skill, not just the aesthetic of the virtual model.
Okay, that reframes it completely for me. The authenticity isn't about the AI character being real. It's about the creator behind the keyboard being a real, struggling, innovating artist.
Exactly.
Okay, so pillar one gets them to save your work. Pillar two gets them to respect your process. You have authority and you have trust.
Right.
But how do you get new eyeballs? Like, how do you break out of your existing follower base?
Well, that requires transitioning from building value to driving reach and conversation.
Hmm.
So let's look at pillar 3, community engagement and Q&A.
And this makes up the other half of that 30% engagement bucket, right?
Yes. And the entire goal here is to activate what data scientists call the comment response loop.
Okay, break down how that loop physically works within the algorithm.
Sure. So when you post a pull-based story, or say you take a highly substantive comment someone left on your page, and you reply to it with a dedicated full-length reel.
Oh, I've seen people do that.
Yeah. It's powerful. You lower the friction for further engagement. The algorithm observes an initial spike in comments, which signals high retention.
Right.
So it pushes the post to a slightly wider ring of users in the feed. Those new users see an active, vibrant comment section, which psychologically prompts them to chime in too.
Like a snowball effect.
Exactly. Their comments signal the algorithm to push it to an even wider ring. The loop basically feeds itself.
It's treating your comment section like a collaborative content goldmine rather than just like an afterthought.
Exactly.
But even with a great comment loop, you're still mostly swimming in familiar waters, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want explosive growth, you need pillar 4.
Yes. Pillar 4.
This is the one everyone obsesses over. Trend reaction and viral formats. And the guide allocates a strict 20% to this. The goal is pure discovery, targeting, what, 3 to 10 times your average non-follower reach?
That's the target, yeah. But the guide includes a massive warning label here.
Which is?
The rule for Pillar 4 is translation, not imitation.
Right. Meaning you can't just slap a trending pop song on a static image of your AI character and expect the algorithm to bless you with 1 million followers.
No, definitely not, because doing that confuses your topic signal completely.
How so?
Well, if your historical data tells the algorithm you are an educational AI art account, and suddenly you mimic a mainstream dance trend perfectly.
Just doing the dance trend exactly like everyone else.
Yeah, the algorithm serves it to people who like dance trends. They look at your highly technical AI page, they don't follow, they bounce immediately, and your retention rate just plummets. You've
Wow.
actively damaged your account.
Wow. Okay, so how do you translate it instead?
You take the mechanic of the trend, maybe it's a specific audio cue that reveals a surprise, and you apply it strictly to your niche.
Okay, give me an example.
So you use that trending audio to reveal the mind-blowing final render of your AI character, but only after showing the chaotic wireframe first. You borrow the viral vehicle, but you fill it with your own highly specific niche cargo.
You know, thinking about these two pillars together, the community Q&A and the viral trends, it's kind of like running a business on a busy highway.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Like pillar 4, the trend content, is a massive flashing neon billboard out by the road. It exists solely to catch the eye of a total stranger driving by at 70 miles an hour and, make them pull over.
Yep.
But pillar 3, the community content, that is the cozy, welcoming diner inside.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. If you only build billboards, people pull into the parking lot, they look through the window of an empty, sterile room, and they just drive away.
Right. There's nothing to keep them there.
Exactly. And the algorithm monitors that bounce rate. It heavily favors accounts that prove they are a living ecosystem. When you reply to a comment with a dedicated video, you are proving to the machine that interactions actually happen here.
But getting people into the diner and getting them to sit down is really only half the battle.
Yeah.
How do you keep them coming back to your specific diner for years?
Yeah, that's the real challenge.
And on a purely practical level, how do you, as a creator, manage all of this content generation without completely burning out by next Tuesday?
Right. Well, this brings us to the final piece of the architecture, the long game and the blueprint.
Okay, let's get into the blueprint.
The anchor of that long game is Pillar 5, personal story and narrative arc. This is woven into that 30% engagement bucket we discussed earlier.
Okay.
The guide is very clear that this is the slowest pillar to build. It doesn't yield immediate viral spikes.
So no overnight millions with this one.
No, definitely not. But it is by far the most durable asset you have. This is the mechanism that converts casual follower into a fiercely loyal advocate.
Okay, but what does a narrative arc actually look like for an AI influencer account?
It looks like vulnerability in time.
Vulnerability from the creator, right?
Yes, it's formats like monthly reflections, transparently sharing what prompts totally failed you this month and what breakthroughs you had.
Oh, I see.
It's sharing a follower milestone, but actually taking the time to explain why reaching that number means something to you personally. It's documenting a 30-day challenge where you try to master a new AI video generation tool from scratch.
Because when you weave a story, you trigger a entirely different psychological response.
Exactly.
They aren't just passively waiting for the algorithm to serve them your tips anymore. They're actively seeking out your profile to see what happens next in your journey.
Yes. And the guide mentions aiming for an 80% or higher story completion rate here. If they're watching your stories all the way through, you own their attention.
And that level of attention brings us to the actual execution blueprint, because the guide codifies this into that sacred ratio: 40% educational, 30% engagement and narrative, 20% trend, and then a strict 10% cap on monetization.
Yep, the 10% cap.
Hold on. This is the other piece of the guide I really struggled with.
I had a feeling you would.
I mean, we're talking about building an AI influencer. The ultimate goal for 99% of creators doing this is brand deals, affiliate links, and sponsorships. It's a business.
Of course.
Why on earth would you cap your revenue-generating posts at 10%? That equates to, what, maybe one monetized post every 2 weeks? That seems insane.
I know it sounds counterproductive to business growth, but the underlying algorithm mechanics demand it.
Why?
Because pushing past that 10% monetization cap is the single most common cause of a sustained, irreversible decline in engagement rate.
Really? Irreversible?
Yeah. Think about what a monetized post actually is. It usually includes outward linking behavior, like link in bio, or it uses ad-like copy that causes viewers to scroll past faster.
Oh, right. Nobody wants to watch an ad.
Exactly. Both of those behaviors physically reduce your average watch time and retention metrics.
And when your watch time drops, the algorithm just assumes your content is getting worse, so it shrinks your reach.
Precisely. So think of the 40-30-20 ratio as your protective armor.
Protective armor. I like that.
It is a massive bank account of algorithmic goodwill and audience trust that you are actively filling up. If you constantly withdraw from that account by posting ads, you trigger platform penalties and deplete audience trust simultaneously.
That makes total sense.
Right. That 90% of value-driven, community-focused content is the only reason that 10% of monetization actually converts into revenue. If everything is an ad nobody buys, you have to earn the right to sell.
You have to build the audience's tolerance for the pitch.
Yeah.
I see the math there. It makes sense even if it's a tough pill to swallow for creators wanting to make a quick buck.
For sure.
So how does this 40-30-20-10 ratio actually translate to a normal Tuesday morning workflow for a creator? Because the guide breaks down a 5-post weekly rotation that honestly feels like it cures blank page syndrome entirely.
Oh, it completely removes the friction of deciding what to make.
Yeah.
If you're posting 5 days a month, the architecture basically dictates your schedule. So Monday is your trend reel. You use that viral format to catch new eyeballs while overall platform traffic is high. Then, Tuesday is your deep dive educational carousel.
So you call them Monday.
Yeah.
And Tuesday you hit them with value.
Exactly. You give them intense value to trigger saves.
Wednesday is your engagement post. You activate the community, maybe run a poll or a Q&A to get the comment loop spinning.
Perfect. And Thursday is another educational piece, maybe a quick tip tutorial reel.
And Friday, you cap the week with your narrative or personal story heading into the weekend, building that emotional connection.
See, you never wake up wondering what to post. You know exactly what specific algorithmic signal you need to hit that day.
That is so freeing.
It really is. And to actually execute this without losing your mind, the guide mandates the batch session. They recommend doing everything in a single, focused 3 to 4 hour block once a week.
Walk us through that block. How do you do it?
You do it in stages. First, you generate all your Midjourney or Stable Diffusion reference images at once. Then, you step back and script your reels. Then, you design the carousels. Then, you write all 5 captions. And finally, and this is critical, you schedule them all in the platform.
And the guide explicitly warns, never leave content in drafts, which I found super interesting. Why is the drafts folder so dangerous?
Because drafts are where content goes to die by second guessing.
Oh, guilty.
We all do it. If it's sitting in drafts, you will overthink the caption, you will tweak the color grade again, or you will simply forget to hit post during the optimal engagement window. You batch it, you schedule it, and you let the machine work.
Set it and forget it. I love that. But, even when you do all of this perfectly, you still have to battle your own impatience. The guide lays out benchmarks that I think are vital for keeping your sanity. Like, if you implement this five-pillar architecture today, what happens at day 30?
At 30 days, do not expect a massive follower spike. That is the danger zone.
Why is it a danger zone?
That's where most creators panic and pivot back to random posting because they aren't seeing immediate viral results.
Right.
At day 30, you should only be looking for stabilization. Are your engagement rates steady? Are your comment counts slightly higher? If yes, the foundation is setting.
Okay. And if you hold your nerve, what happens at day 60?
Day 60 is when the topic signal really begins to compound. That's when you should start seeing your non-follower reach multiply by 2 or 3 times.
Because the algorithm finally trusts your categorization.
Exactly. You will also start seeing new followers actively going back and engaging with your old pillar content from month 1.
That is the dream. So the golden rule of this entire guide is, do not touch the pillar strategy before 90 days.
Not before 90 days. You have to give the algorithmic roots time to grow into the soil.
It is such a massive shift in perspective. You are stepping away from that chaotic, intuitive, I hope this goes viral mentality, and you're stepping into a ratio-driven, compounding content machine.
Yeah.
It's about letting the architecture do the heavy lifting that sheer volume alone simply cannot do.
It really is a paradigm shift. And, as we've been deconstructing this, we've been talking about it strictly as an AI influencer strategy from a highly technical 2026 playbook.
Right.
But if you step back and look at the underlying psychology of these 5 pillars, it raises a really profound question.
Okay, where are you going with this?
Well, we are talking about the need for authority, the craving for behind-the-scenes authenticity, the desire for community interaction, and the emotional pull of a narrative arc.
Yeah.
Does this algorithmic topic signal we've been trying to hack actually reflect how artificial intelligence sorts data in a cold server farm somewhere? Or does it perfectly mirror the exact way human psychology decides who to trust in a world that is completely overflowing with information?
Oh, wow. That is heavy.
Maybe the algorithm isn't this alien adversarial machine we are constantly trying to trick. Maybe the algorithm is just a hyper-efficient mirror reflecting our own human cognitive pillars right back at us. It rewards trust because we require trust.
That is a fascinating thought to hold on to. The machine is just reflecting the audience. So if you are sitting there feeling like you are screaming into the void, rendering beautiful art that nobody sees, maybe it's time to stop shouting and start architecting.
Exactly.
Take a hard look at your own posting history from this past week. Look at the last 10 things you put out there and ask yourself, which of these 5 pillars am I completely neglecting? Figure that out, and you might just find the blueprint you've been missing. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to AI Creator World Podcast. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, and share this episode with another creator who is building their future online. For deeper guides, AI tools, and step-by-step growth strategies, visit our website at aicreatorworld.net. And remember, in the age of artificial intelligence, creators who learn faster will lead the future. See you in the next episode. Bye!